there. Welcome to the Movie Review Mom YouTube channel. If this is the very first time you found me, yay, finally you're here. I've been waiting. And if you're a returning subscriber, yay, thank you so much for coming back. I really appreciate your support. My subscribers already know that my goal is to save you time and money by giving you the scoop on filmmaking quality and content. So you can decide whether or not you want to spend time or money watching a particular film. So today the movie I'm reviewing is called The Arrival. This one location film released on digital platforms just a couple of weeks ago, but I instantly went out of town for 2 weeks in a row, so I'm trying to catch up. The movie is rated R, and I'll give you some tips for parents here in just a few minutes. It's 71 minutes long, and I'm going to give you an overview in a nutshell first, and I'll point out things I liked, things I didn't like, tips for parents, themes worth talking about, funny lines, interesting lines, and we'll finish up with other films that are sort of similar that you might also enjoy. All right, so in a nutshell, the story is about 6 people who cross paths over the course of an afternoon at a sparsely attended Manhattan bar, each struggling with physical and emotional boundaries. When a stranger arrives on the scene, they begin to question who they are and what they might become. The film was directed by Alyssa Rallo Bennett. Writing credits go to her husband, Gary O. Bennett. Some quick tips for parents. I think kids are definitely going to be bored. So will some adults. It's basically adults talking the entire time. It's not a big action movie or anything like that. It's also a low budget film and not a big Hollywood blockbuster. There is alcohol. They're all in a bar. There's profanity, including 2 F-bombs. A young woman talks about popping an Oxycontin pill. There is talk of abortion and talk of premarital relations. So some of the themes that are illustrated very well are identity, dark secrets, self-discovery, and confrontation. So along the list of things that I liked is the cast. All of the characters look and feel like real people. The cast includes Peter Bradbury, Nicholas L. Ruffy, hopefully I'm pronouncing these names correctly, Nick Hamperin, Alice Heber Martin, that probably was right, Vivian Helvagian, wow, these are tough. Inez Leda, Puya Mons, oh my gosh, I'm slaughtering these. Puya Moseni and Daniela Ordaneta. Okay, whew. So you're probably going to not recognize any of those names. And that's one of the things that I liked. I always like being introduced to new actors and actresses out there and seeing them get a break in a film that's being more widely distributed like this one is. And so they feel like real people. The conversations that they have sound like real people conversations. And I like the variety in the problems that everybody is experiencing, although we quickly learn that they're connected in interesting ways. All right, so another thing I really liked about this film is its one location style of filmmaking. I've always really enjoyed that because you have to really have good actors who can carry that story. The entire film takes place in an upscale bar, although it's large enough to allow the characters to kind of move around and have some of their own private conversations in their private space, if you know what I mean. It's a 2-story bar. And so even though it's one location, it feels more spacious and with some separation. I love the idea of a character entering a story that sheds light on everything that happened or was said right before. The confusing part of the title is that there were actually 2 arrivals of new characters. And so I'm not sure exactly what they were going for with that. But both new arrivals brought some insights and some changes to the dynamics and the conversations anyway. Now, saying that, we don't really see a ton of character development. Now, there is a longer list, unfortunately, of things that I didn't like or just thought could have been done better or differently, because these are people who are newish in the industry. So first of all of the characters are super self-absorbed millennials and Gen Z narcissists who think they're so wise. And I just found that to be a little bit annoying. Some of the writing is inconsistent, which affects the character development. For example, one character gets mad because another character doesn't say thank you. And then a few minutes later, she tells the character, oh, you don't have to thank me. I'm just doing my job. And I'm like, wait, what? 20 minutes in, and we still know nothing about really any of the characters. It's all kind of shrouded in some vagueness. And you're like, okay, I know somehow everybody's going to be connected. When are we going to get to that part? And you're kind of out of the loop. You're not quite getting the full conversation to really understand what's going on. Worst employee ever, I think, that this bar has as the bartender. I was just like, wow, I would fire that girl so fast. And then there's this plucky music that tells us what's supposed to be funny or charming, and it doesn't always align with what we're seeing on the screen. Now, when I mentioned I watch movies, I write down funny lines and interesting lines just so you can kind of get a taste of that script writing and dialogue quality. For funny lines, I didn't really write down anything as I reviewed my notes, even though, as I mentioned, sometimes that music makes you think, oh, this is a funny moment. And yet I didn't hear anything particularly clever or witty or anything that made me laugh out loud. But I did write down some interesting lines. And this I thought was interesting and definitely related to the story itself. So the character is played by Puya Moseni. Anyway, and so the line is, whenever there are people, there's a story. And I really liked that line tried to foreshadow what's happening in the movie itself, that there are all of these disparate people, assumingly, right? And so they're telling their stories or showing their stories in their life experience. And that's where the story is supposed to take place. Obviously, it's all about storytelling. But before we go, let me tell you some recommendations for some films that I instantly thought of that are also one location type of movies, because I do find that so fascinating. The first one is fantastic, and it's an old one. I'm surprised they haven't redone it yet, but it's called 12 Angry Men. So it's 12 guys sitting in a jury room debating what they had just experienced, and it is fascinating to watch. The psychological drama, maneuvering, and the changing of opinions, just right there in front of your eyes, happening in real time. Really well done. And if you're an attorney, you definitely should watch that movie. Another one is a film, and also an older film, called My Dinner with Andre. Just a conversation between two people, and it's just fascinating and considered a classic. And then another one that I was thinking about is called 10 Cloverfield Lane. Now, it's sort of a sequel to the Cloverfield movie, the franchise itself, and it's a little bit more of an alien horror type of movie. But apart from that, it is just people in a room in one location having incredible tension. And they do such a great job of creating that in their conversations, their movements, their facial expressions, and then you get a little bit of alien monster stuff too, towards the end. But I thought it was really well done. All right, that's it. Thank you so much for spending time with me. When you get a minute, run over and visit me on all the social media sites. You can find me everywhere as Movie Review Mom, but you can also find me as Trina Boice, which is my name, where you can learn about my 31 books, my online courses, my products, and my other shenanigans. Have a fantastic day, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.